Good morning from Panhandle Outdoors, America's only daily outdoor TV show. Your source for fishing, hunting, and information for folks who enjoy the great outdoors. Now sit back, relax. It's Panhandle Outdoors.
Good morning, folks. Welcome to Panhandle Outdoors. I'm Winston Chester. Glad you're here this morning. Got a big show lined up, but first, as always, our weather brought to us by Haney Technical Center at the corner of Baldwin and Highway 77. We got some interesting weather coming up, and just a simple fact, it's cooling down just a little bit. So that's always the beginning of the beginning, okay? So we got some cool weather coming later on, but it's going to still be warm and all. But this weekend, according to all the meteorologists I've watched on TV and read on the reports, it's going to be a beautiful weekend here in Florida Panhandle. So go ahead and start preparing for it. High today, 87, low 62. It may even get down into the 50s this weekend. That's wonderful news. Water temperature is staying at 85 degrees. It dropped 2 degrees in the last couple of weeks. So 85 degrees on the water temperature. Let's take a look at our river readings. We're talking about those all week. Now, 0.7 is a reading in Apalachicola. No movement there. And the Choctaw-Caryville is a 3.1. It was at a 2.7 going up 3.1. That's really minor details. Both rivers are low. We mentioned it yesterday. Just be careful navigating those rivers this weekend. It's going to be really low. And those fishing should be really good on the river, though. I know some of y'all have some good reports coming back. Tide chart brought to us by Kent Forest Lawn Funeral Home and Cemetery. We can say one word: neap. Neap tides today. Nothing going on as far as the movement today or tomorrow. Now, next week, I don't have October tides up, but next week we'll get back into some good tides. But next couple of days, not much tidal flow. Okay, the marine forecast will be a little bit out of north-northwest, around 5 to 10. Let's take our break and we'll be right back. Okay, welcome back. Let's go show a couple of pictures real quick. So some midweek fishing going on. Check this one out here. Big, nice redfish at Lake, little sweet Lake and Hutchinson. The Hutchinson family up there in Southport, been a long line of fishermen, and she's a sweet young lady. Good job, Lake and Hutchinson. Drew Benton fishing the Gulf County Sheriff's Tournament in Apalachicola. Drew just came home to fish with his buddy, Michael Smith, and they did a good job. I sort of a loaded deck when Drew Benton entered the local contest, but they're good fishermen. And I didn't get results on that contest over there. Okay, here's Evan Zackrell. Evan's a good fisherman, nice redfish right there, Evan. Always got a big smile and always got a nice fish. All right, let's move on over. Sam Taylor. He got not one sailfish, but two sailfish off of the pier. This is 60 inches, caught and released right there. So you ain't got to go to Cabo San Lucas to catch a sailfish. You can catch them right here off the pier. I got a good pier report coming up too later. Roy Haupt over there on the east side of town. Roy's family been there a long time. Beautiful sunset. Hope you've been able to see some of these sunsets in the afternoons, especially October coming up with some great ones here. Nice email here. Hey, Winston, thought I felt a hint of fall in the air, so I tried to catch a few bass on Deer Point Lake today. Ended up with a half dozen. Took a couple home for photos, and then since I live on the lake, I returned them at my dock to hopefully be caught again. Also, don't know how well they can be seen, but near the end of my day, I heard a really strange sound and looked around to see a bald eagle at one end of a floating tree and a very noisy blue heron at the other end. It was a standoff that lasted for several minutes. The bald eagle hopped down on the tree and approached the heron, got to within 10 feet when the heron decided to depart. Looking forward to catch some more nice bass now that fall is rapidly approaching. Nice job there. And really, what's going on, a lot of bald eagles are out right now. Gail saw some off our dock a couple of days ago. Really moving in. Okay, a couple more pictures. Here's Rick Moeller and Kendra Lynn Calhoun. Our first catch from the lake in our backyard. We threw them back to live another day. Loving leisure lake life. Good to see old Rick Moeller there fishing. Good job. And Victor Haskell coming in from Choctawhatchee Bay. Nice fish over in Choctawhatchee Bay, Victor. Good job. And one more email. Hey, Coach, tell you what, it's been a trying summer. I do not have any good news about our bays so far. Right now, it's not good. The rumors are true. Rick went out with Dan with the Department of Aquaculture, and we have lost East Bay, all of East Bay, North Bay and the channel in the West Bay. October 1st is opening day. My stomach is in knots. We'll be on the water, whatever comes. We have some areas we have to get, so hopefully nothing has happened to them. I know they will come back. I know not everything's gone, but it's going to take some time to find the ones we have that survived. This is Lily Newsom on the oyster shell recycling, and there's really some tough news on the oysters there. They've got a tough road to hoe ahead of them, so we need to help them all we can with oysters and oyster replenishing, okay? And we'll talk more about that. Lily and her husband have been on the show before. Really good folks there, and they make a living. That's their livelihood, oystering. Okay, I've got a couple things. Let's talk about some more fishing. This was in every Friday. We get in the local newspaper. We get a magazine called The Entertainer. Okay, and our buddy Jim Wilson writes a article on fishing. I appreciate a newspaper because Scott Lindsay does a Tuesday and Sunday article on outdoors. And here comes Jim Wilson doing Fridays. That's 3 days a week, getting some outdoor news, and that's all good stuff. Well, last week Jim put my picture in. He called me up and wanted to do a little interview on pompano fishing. This was pompano fishing. I caught my limit there at Cape San Blas. So he put this story in here about pompano fishing. I got some calls on it. Now everybody wants me to take them pompano fishing, including my preacher. Because I'm gonna take some of y'all pompano fishing. But that was surf fishing, and I talk a lot about surf fishing. But what's going on now? We're starting a fall pompano run, which is really cool. They've been eating all summer. They're moving through. They're bigger in the summer after they're eating and all. So with the fall run, they're a lot bigger. And what's, actually, we talked about it before, the world record was caught right here in St. Joe Bay in October. So I brought what I wanted to show you. If you're gonna do some fishing, surf fishing is going to be surf rods and all. But this is my little. You can fish from a boat, okay? And a lot of times, I have a little bronze spoon. I just brought this back from my Louisiana trip. I didn't take the spoon off. We're going to talk about some Louisiana fishing, how those boys fish out there. It's interesting. But basically what you want is, of course, a good quality reel. One thing we overthink a lot of times and get complicated in tackle and everything and real fancy stuff and all. And basically all you need is a good reel, a good rod. This is a 7-foot medium action rod, okay? And you want to use a fluorocarbon leader and a braided line, and anywhere 10 to 12 pounds. If you're trout fishing, I use the same thing for trout, redfish, and pompano. The same reel right here is called all of them. So it's nothing complicated about it, but it's really a lot of fun. This particular spoon, I tried it over in Louisiana off the dock because the water's a little muddy and I used this spoon. But what I caught, I was going to show you what I caught that redfish. I'm going to dig it out here. What I caught that redfish on Louisiana, let's see. I didn't spend a lot of time. Here's my pompano rig, but it was actually a mirror lure. In fact, I've got it right here. And a lot of people don't fish this color anymore. But see this right here? This is what I caught that redfish on off the dock in Louisiana. And I would have caught some more if I had more time. But see that right there? This is a simple mirror lure. And I tried top water early and didn't have much luck with it. Now, on pompano fishing from a boat, you just want to, I love to do that. What you got to do, you got to find them in an area, and as you go out to jetties, as you go out to pass at the jetties, go down Shell Island 300-400 yards. Just a lot of people just work back and forth along Shell Island. There's little holes and all there. And I'm just going to show you basically some pompano jigs. This is some right in here. See that color right there? I love that. It's called a sand color, and you're trying to duplicate or replicate a sand flea. And I also like the orange. See the orange? There's something new. I love how they developed over the past 20 or 30 years. A little bit of orange in the feathers there. And then this is just a different color here, more elongated. Okay, I got some there. And then I got this is more. So you can see the color right there, more sparkly. And you can all these will catch them, and I've caught them on all of them. So different colors. This has a little pink tail. Okay. The eggs are sort of orangish pinkish. All right. And by the way, if you do catch a female, one of the eggs of the sand flea, if you ever catch a female, certainly let them go. Okay, so I just wanted to touch base on pompano fishing. We'll talk more about it, but October is starting this weekend, and October is an excellent time to go pompano fishing. And you do it from the surf, which is, that's that 2-hook rig with the sand fleas and shrimp or either fish bites. That's one way to do it, like I did in this picture here. Or you can also fish just jig fish. Now, you can walk along the beach and jig fish. But once you find them in a hole or something, a lot of times they're going to be in that area. Okay? I'll take a break and we'll be right back. Okay, welcome back. Just sitting around talking about fishing and outdoor activities. I like to do that. I was telling Jeff, we're about to get ready to do some serious fishing now. I've got a couple more things got to get knocked out, and then we're going to do some serious fishing. But when I go somewhere else, I always look at how other people are fishing. I get a kick out of it. Sometimes it makes a lot of sense, sometimes it don't make sense. But one thing I noticed out at Venice, Louisiana, we spent several days out there. I was able to get around. A lot of time we walked the docks, and it's not a big dock area, but the guides are coming in and out, and they're red fishing guides and trout fishing guides and tuna fishing boats, and it's interesting. But all the guys out there fish. I'm just going to hold this up. You can't really see it. It's a jig head, but it's unpainted. I've noticed over the last few years, a lot of guides are fishing with just a simply unpainted jig head. Like most jig heads have colors on them and everything. But theirs, I got a kick out of it. Theirs, and of course they're weedless and all, and they've got more muddy water, and they rig it up. I'm gonna show you some rigs, but exclusively they use that popping cork with a popping cork leader. It really, they were one of the first ones to start. It started up in Louisiana, then down around Cedar Key, these popping cork, and Captain Roy actually one of the first ones started too. He's not a cork, but he had a float, but same principle. We make a little bit of popping noise and attracting the fish. So I enjoyed seeing that, and they have different combinations, but that popping cork, they have 5 or 6 of them rigged up. So that's interesting too. And they use braided line, and they had some of their reels now was completely monofilament, and I have some of my reels are completely monofilament. All right. Also, don't forget I'm changing formats today. We're going to do our Friday show today, so we're going to do our fishing report a little bit later. We'll do our drawing later. Here's the deal. I've got the video. Gail finally got the video edited. All that mess I brought back. She spends a lot of time editing it and trying to break it down so it's presentable and not back and forth like sometimes when I'm trying to fish and film. Well, I say sometimes, all the time when I'm trying to fish and film, it gets a little messy there. So anyway, we're going to have that. It's going to be in 2 parts. I was out there a long time, so we had plenty of fish we caught. So we're going to actually tomorrow, we're going to watch a video on it tomorrow, part 1, and then actually part 2 will be on Monday. So we've got 2 good days of some really good fishing video. And when I go on a trip and all, and I do videos, it's not just about going out there hooking fish, bringing them in, and putting them in a box. There's life stories to it. There's people you fish with, and people are interesting. I met some interesting people, so I got an interview here and there, and I talk to people. It's not just constantly. You want to see constantly catching fish, just turn on the Outdoor Channel and watch those constant. But to me, they just don't have a lot of human interest, and I just feel like Panhandle Outdoors has more human interest kind of stories. So, and that's just the way I am, and I enjoy people. I enjoy meeting them, and I met some folks out there. Now we're going to be lifelong friends. I rode back on a 7-hour trip with a guy, and we had a great time. He lives in South Carolina, and I'm welcome to go up there, and he's welcome to come down here and fish together. And that's the way it is on these trips, okay? Now, real quick, yesterday, Travis was on. We're talking about dove season. Got off to a slow start. I've checked with some other people too, and they've got a few, but no one really busted them other than just 1 or 2 of those pictures I showed on Tuesday. I wrote down. I was trying to think. I haven't had a chance to go dove shooting yet, but real quick, so I'm gonna give you some dove tips, dove hunting tips. I wrote down 7. I put them together last night, and just generally speaking over my years of experience. Number 1. Practice. If you can get out, practice before the season, shoot some clays, and our shooting range has them now. A lot of people just have their own, but just practice getting that lead. Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't, but I know I shoot a lot better if I have just a little bit of practice. It's fun. Number 2, and these are they're in random order, no organized order. Always break your silhouette when you're out in the field. You don't just stand up out in the field. Y'all know that. Have some kind of little. Ideally, if you get along a fence line, when in the old days we always fished a cornfield that had a fence line sort of next to it, and we were able to sort of break up. And sometimes you get out in the middle of the field, just get some corn stalks or something, and just break up your silhouette. Another one too. Food or water. Find out what pattern they're coming in. Are they coming in to water in the afternoon? Remember, he said a lot of guys were at Deer Point Lake shooting them when they were coming in to roost. Make sure you don't shoot them after sundown, especially if the game wardens around. And also a watering hole. They're going to a lot of times come into a water hole. So if their pattern is coming into water, get in a flight path, or if they're coming in for food, get in a flight path of where they're coming in for food. Number 4, sit to shoot. You a lot better sitting down instead of standing up to shoot. You're more stable. You're able to hold the gun more steady. So sit down if you can, okay? And number 5, on the lead, you got different kind. You got the birds coming in, one kind of lead. You got them going to either side. That's a different kind of lead. Then you got them going away from you. So know what's going on in the bird path and on adjusting the lead. And that just comes from experience. The next to last one will be the decoys. We talked about decoys are important. I started using them 4 or 5 years ago, and they're all good. And again, I just mentioned that make sure you know where to be in the field, your location. If they're not coming in there and no one's out and they're coming in a corner down there, go to that corner unless someone's down there. And always keep a good shooting distance. Always safety is important to keep a good shooting distance between you and never shoot level. If you got young kids out there, and I've seen this happen before. Kids, they get excited at a bird and they'll come down and shoot level. Never shoot level. Always have that gun barrel pointed up and go over that with kids. That's so important. Okay, now I got a lot of tips on pompano and dub and everything else. I hope we'll get ready for the fishing for a second. But let's do our drawing. It's the Tarpon Rock Seafood, and like I say, tell them we're a day early because we got some video coming up. So let's go. This will be the $20 gift certificate to Tarpon Rock Seafood. And this is going to be Victor Hathcote. Victor, you want this one? Got to come all the way over here from Santa Rosa and get you some good seafood, because I know you're not catching enough over at Choctaw Bay. All right, now, just kidding. Red snapper, winter red snapper. And that winner is going to be Linda Dean from Ebro. So we got a winner from Ebro and a winner from Santa Rosa. Very good. I'm happy for y'all, and we're going to get back with real-time fisheries too. They're going to be giving away some stuff. We just haven't got connected back with them, and we're going to check with them soon. Okay, so let's go ahead. We'll get ready for our fishing forecast. So let's go ahead and take our break, and we'll be right back. Okay, welcome back to the famous Friday fishing forecast done on Thursday. I think it's the first time we've ever done it on Thursday, but let's get started on it. I got some good information. I got tickled. I had a contact recently tell me that my forecast wasn't entirely accurate. Well, I can promise you the information I get on here comes directly from fishermen, and none of this stuff's made up. I can promise you don't get a better fishing report anywhere in the Florida Panhandle than what you do here in Panhandle Outdoors. I can guarantee that. And just because maybe you don't know how to catch fish or something, it's not our fault. So these people are catching fish, we're sending us pictures, they're calling me, they're emailing me. And for instance, this is Kerry last night at the pier. Okay, he's had a great fall, early fall. Kerry, he was excited last night when I talked to him. He's been working a night shift there, and he said he just brought in a 20-pound king. This Panama City Beach Pier, 20-pound king. They're catching some sailfish, and sure enough, I showed the sailfish this morning with Taylor catching 2 sailfish. So they're catching sails off there. They hooked a nice tarpon this week off the pier, and they're catching a lot of Spanish, of course, a lot of hardtail for the kids, and redfish are being caught. And redfish, a lot of times the redfish out there are these big bull reds. But he said this past week or two they're catching redfish in the slot. So that's really good information from Panama City Beach Pier. So go out there and give it a try. Going to be some good fishing out there. I guess the pier, we get reports from Kerry and Bill Angevine, and Bill fishes at the pier 200 days a year. So I feel really accurate and really secure when I get that report from them. Okay. Also, Mitch Coleman in Mexico Beach sends in good reports. The king bite down there is good. King mackerel is going to be, it's starting to fall run too. So we're getting those smoker kings to be coming through. Some nice kings are being caught. Let's go to St. Joe Bay. St. Joe Bay is really picking up. It was a little bit slow this summer, but St. Joe Bay is really picking up. I wrote down here, basically what we have down here is a redfish, or the October reds are going to really be good in Apalachicola Bay and St. Joe Bay. Down in Carabel, we're looking at snapper fishing. Tony Bass Saturday, he's headed down there to go snapper fishing. He's got some good reports, and we didn't call Carabel this week, but again, we're trying to cover the whole Panhandle. Again, surf fishing is going to be good. Triple tail fishing is going to be excellent. Triple tail fishing, again, triple tail are easy to catch, and you don't want to overdo it. Anytime you see a floating object, a lot of guys just dropping out tarps in the water, stuff like that, and coming back 2 hours later and got 3 or 4 triple tail around them. So you can do that. A little technique to that. Oyster bar red fishing, those are going to be good. Okay. Panama City, here in Panama City, it's fascinating seeing the reports and all dock fishing. Well, let's go back to last weekend. Last Saturday, we had that big redfish tournament. We had some of the best red fishermen in the area fishing here, and they caught. I talked to or had correspondence with 3 or 4 different boats and all of them had the same story. They caught a bunch of redfish last Saturday, but there were none of the really big ones. The winning weight was around 11 pounds. Sometimes it's, Louisiana, it's 17, 18 pounds. Really, so the redfish were there last week. Dock fishing has been good. Some guys were dock fishing, some guys fishing around the pass, some guys just bouncing around the flats. But they were moving around. But Fred Meyer said he and Justin just stayed in one area and caught like 50-something redfish, and just in one area. So that means that if you can find them in one area, that's going to be good. So look around for that. West Bay is going to be excellent next couple of weeks. I feel like I feel real comfortable fishing West Bay, and also the docks around here. Now flounder, I saw this week the first time I've seen some nice flounder really brought in. In fact, a commercial guy brought in 71 2 nights ago, and he caught it within 2 hours. He'd get 71 flounder. So when the commercial guys start doing that, they're really beginning to pick up. You're getting a fall water temperature dropping. They're getting to move around a little bit. Freshwater, the bass fishermen. I wrote here on freshwater bass fishermen are getting a good bite. Lake Seminoles has a good bite. Lake Talcott has a good bite, and so does the Lake Wimico. They've been catching some drums. Drum fishing has been really good. Let's see. Striped bass in the Choctawhatchee River, that bottom end on live bait. Choctawhatchee Bay also has a lot of ladyfish in them, redfish, but drum has been really strong in that area too. Okay, let's see. We're going to start wrapping things up, but again, the good report come from the Panama City Beach Pier. Okay. Also, you can get some fishing apps too. I don't have time to talk about it now. We're going to wrap things up. As always, I want to tell you how much we appreciate you watching Panhandle Outdoors. We try hard. We just do the best we can, and we enjoy bringing it to you and do a variety of things. And like I say, the next couple of days, we have some really good video I think you're going to enjoy. Make sure you go out today and enjoy the outdoors. Always do something good for your fellow man. You have a great day, and God bless.
Thanks for watching America's only daily outdoor TV show, Panhandle Outdoors with Winston Chester, featuring hunting, fishing, and other activities and information to help you enjoy the great outdoors. Join us next time for Panhandle Outdoors.